So I want to go over a few intricacies, complexities, gotchas, and pieces of advice for using Obsidian because I've been using it for a couple months now. I built a plugin for it. I've figured out a couple fun plugins that you can use in systems that work for me, and I found a few gotchas that are pretty easy to avoid. And I'd also like to highlight some inherent complexity of using Obsidian, some give and take that you have to deal with. And without further ado, let's jump in. So this is my home note. Every time I open Obsidian, this is what I see. And I've got some dynamically created links here to my notes. But let's first of all just jump into what this home note is doing for me. So if I click into this temp file right here, blah, 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 I add some stuff, and then I control W to X out of it, I go home. I always go home. And that's because I have a plugin enabled. If I go to settings and I go to community plugins, this home page one is super dope. And then I can click it. Yeah, it's installed. You can basically create a home page and always open it on startup or note close. So that's really sweet. I'm going to go in here and delete this. So you can do Shift Alt Delete. You should always enable this thing. You should never say don't ask again here because you never know when you're going to accidentally click those keys. So I delete it, boom, back on the home page. This is where 80% of my stuff is, and so it's good that I'm always here. I have the 20% of my notes that I use 80% of the time right at this home note. And then if you want to search for a note, you can Control P and search for the note. I think I might have had to set up that shortcut, but that also matches with something like VS Code or Visual Studio Code. Those are the same thing. Okay, so dynamic links. I'm using the data view plugin for this. And when you create dynamic links, the temptation is to do it so that you can automate things. And for example, I wanted to figure out how can I have a calendar of my notes and how can I see what I do through time? How can I look back through time and do this? And everybody starts out with like the daily note. The daily note is something that Obsidian has built in, and I think it's really terrible actually. Like, you don't need that much stuff in a single day. It's way too much work, and then navigating to the previous day and the next day you have to build dynamic links, and it's a pain in the ass. Just do a note for every month. That's manageable. So here's my new way of doing things. If I click on this month's note, let me show you what this link is. Here's the data view code for it. Pretty sick. I whipped it up, invented that. And if I go into November, today's the 1st, I have nothing in here. But I could say November 3. Bobby. I met with Bobby. And we had coffee. And then I could say I was thinking about something, something deep. I don't know. You get the idea. You've got all of your stuff for the month right here, and then I control W and I'm back home. And the way I used to do it was the home note would have a title like 2025 November, but I'm changing it, and the reason that it is the new way, let me go to this month's note, new, so 2025 11 November, you can actually organize these automatically by file name, so you can say 2025 11 November comes after 2025 10 October. Unfortunately, the names of the month, they're not going to auto align, so you'll have all the 2025 month notes, but they're going to be kind of scrambled up because August comes before January, because A comes before J. So adding the month number right here in the note is something new. But this is where we hit a bit of complexity, because now I have to go back, and let me go back to my home note and go to my timeline base. Now I have to go back and fix everything. So look at this. We've got 2025 11 October. We've got 2025 11 November, 2025 November. This is the old one. 2025 August, 2025 October. And I have to go back and take these 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these guys, and I have to add the same format as I have right here. Otherwise, I'm going to get duplicate notes if I change things up. So I'm going to do that, and you'll notice they're not organized correctly, because see, we've got August, October, September, March. What the heck is going on here? We want these to be organized in the right order. So that's why I'm adding that number there. I'm going to have to go back and fix these. And that's why Obsidian is cool. It's very powerful and fluid, and you can do all sorts of different things, but it's also powerful and fluid, and you have to do all sorts of different things to get the results that you want. And it's really cool because I can, I can go back and change the way that my whole system operates. But I'm going to have to go do some work here. And another thing, the way that I've got this timeline built, I have to filter by file name starting with 2025 underscore. Not cool. What I should be doing is saying file has tag, month. And then I'm going to go add a month tag to every single one of these notes, but the month tag won't automatically be added because every time I go to the home page and let's say it becomes December and I click on the note for the first time that month, it's not going to have the tag of month, so I'm going to have to manually remember how to do that in order to make my timeline thing work. And that's not a big deal, but it's just one of the trade-offs you have to know about. There we go. We've got the month tag in there now. So what I have to do, I have to go back through all of my monthly notes. I have to add the number to the title, and I have to add the tag of month, and then my system will work. But it's going to be a great system as soon as it's up and running, but it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. Just one of the things you have to be aware of when you're using a tool like Obsidian. When you get it working right, it feels amazing, and everything just kind of flows. And it is incredibly fast and useful. You get your hotkeys set up, you can boom, 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 you get all the data you need. Like for example, if I'm driving and I need to find somebody's address, I just search their name, boom, get the address from their file properties, and I keep gift ideas in people's files. Like my brother, I'll throw a gift idea for him on the Ethan file, and things just work. But it takes a while to set it up, and you're going to iterate and change things, and it's very fluid. If you're attached to the idea that your notes have to preserve a perfect history through time and you don't want to lose anything, it's going to be very hard to wrap your head around completely rewriting the way you do things and changing. But it kind of mirrors your own brain, right? Like if you stay static and you don't change the way that you think about things and you don't ever grow and you don't ever reject old ideas or ways of doing things, I would argue that's not a very good way to live. And similarly, if you do that in Obsidian, if you try to preserve the past and you try not to overwrite history, if you try not to change the systems you have built, then you're going to have a negative experience in Obsidian overall. So it's very powerful. You have to be willing to uproot things. You have to be willing to take big swaths of your past note systems and overwrite them. Sometimes it might take 5 to 10 minutes to get it up and running, but when you clean your data, when you build a good system and you have good automations like these dynamic links that I use, you set up your hotkeys correctly, and you use tags on the right stuff, it's a pretty small sacrifice for the payoff that you get, because I can eliminate a whole ton of software from my life. I can eliminate a whole ton of complexity, and I can eliminate a whole giant ton of mental effort, because I don't have to remember half the stuff that I need to anymore. I just drop it in the notes that I've created, and it's super dope. So yeah, that was a really roundabout way of saying play with Obsidian more and you will reap some benefits. Cheers.